Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to Gavin Reads It All, and this is episode 4 of Snake Across My Bookshelves. And if you are new to the Snake Across My Bookshelves series, I will leave a link to the playlist down in the description box. Essentially, I do play Snake on these bookshelves. I will randomly generate a shelf, read a book off that shelf, and I can't get off that shelf until I finish that book, and then I will randomly generate the next shelf, and then the next shelf, and the next shelf, until I form a snake across my bookshelves, and the vlog ends when I crash. That still took me a little bit too long to explain. I can't just say what the series is about because it's just hard. It's hard to explain. Now, usually I do have power-ups in these episodes. However, for episode 4, I am going to forego the power-ups. I am going away at the end of next week, so I don't have as much time to prolong this episode. So we're going back to basics. We are stripping it back. We are going back to how we did in the pilot. However, there is still going to be a little bit of a twist for this video. So I did mention in my spring TBR video that I essentially do want to make my members pick my TBR for me in this video. So every single time I land on a shelf, I will send them 4 options, and 3 of those options will be like the 3 most anticipated books off that shelf, and then the 4th option will be a book that I'm not as excited about. I mean, I'm excited for everything in this room, don't get me wrong, but there will always be something on a shelf that I am the least excited to read, and my members will not know which is which. So that will be hopefully a fun little added element because I'm not doing power-ups in this one. These are all of the shelves at play also. So I'm just doing my general A to Z shelves, and there are actually 29 of these. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And in the festive edition, my books kind of ended here on shelf 28, but we've kind of spilled over a little bit into shelf number 29. So we have 29 shelves at play. However, because that is empty, I do kind of just want to have a 30th shelf just to make it like nice and round and hopefully help with the snake. So what I'm going to do is, if we go into my nostalgia room and manga room and essentially my work room, on the bottom shelf here I have my graphic novels, and this shelf is very close to being green. So if you've seen my From Red to Red audit vlog, you will know that each shelf that is over 50% turns green and anything under 50% is red. So I thought it would actually be really cool for shelf number 30 to be the graphic novels. So here is my spinner wheel with all of these shelf numbers on it, and like I do with every single spin the wheel, I shuffle 7 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now we're going to find out what shelf we are starting on. If it is either shelf number 2 or 3, that's ridiculous because every single other Snake Across My Bookshelves, the first 3 episodes, I started in that vicinity. So if that happens for a 4th time, I'm not going to be happy. Let's spin the wheel. But also turn the volume up because I've got a cracking spin the wheel song, if you ask me. Shelf number 15, that is what we are starting on. I must admit, I think I featured that shelf in my recent From Red to Red shelf. So that's like shelf number 15 with just the A to Z books. But I have 88 shelves in total. And I think shelf number 15... But we're gonna have a look. And here is my visual representation of the shelves. Always a professional edit. And yeah, shelf number 15 is this one. And that is the one we're going to be starting with. So that is the head of the snake. So yeah, just as I thought, if we go back in here, shelf number 15. So there's 5, 10, 15. I literally just featured this shelf because it's shelf 36 overall. And it was in my From Red to Red vlog. So I'm a little bit disappointed that this shelf came up again. And again, like, it's just like, I have so many shelves, I could pick anything. It was always picking these shelves in the first 3 episodes, and now we have this one again. So now I need to pick 4 books off of this shelf. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I've read most of the ones that I am the most excited for. Like, I'm looking at them now, and I'm just like, I'm gonna spin again. I don't want that shelf. I don't want the shelf. And I'm gonna be very honest with you, I just don't want that shelf. I featured that shelf so recently, and overall, it's 56.5% red. So I would rather focus on a shelf I have not focused on. So we're going to spin again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At least I'm being honest. Okay, I have added shelf number 15 back onto the spin the wheel. So let's shuffle 7 times again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and spin. The sound. The sound. Oh no, the sound didn't go. Why isn't the sound not working? Oh my gosh. This is already a terrible episode. I'm just going to say. And it's going to be freaking shelf number 4. Which actually, no, I think that might be okay. That might be okay, actually, because it was like shelf 2 and 3. Essentially, that was always starting out. Oh my god, I already hate this episode. I'm sorry. But please do like the video, though, if you're enjoying it so far. And here we have shelf number 4. Head of the Snake, right at the top. That seems like a pretty good place to start, actually. Shelf number 4 is this one. And it is 31.6% red. This is in my 26 books to read in 2026. So I feel like this needs to be one of the top 3 that I want to read off this shelf. I've read... Should I tell you which ones I've read? I have read Wood Smoke Women's Book of Spells. I've read The Left Hand of Darkness. I've read... Have I read... I don't think I have. I've read Quicksilver. I've read Brimstone. I've read The Jasted Air. I've read... Witchcraft Away with Girls. Okay, yeah, so that's all I've read off this shelf. So no wonder it's terrible. What else am I excited to read on this shelf? I mean, I'm excited to read King Sorrow, but I'm saving that for my next Mission Impossible Toss. So, I mean, Medea looks like a pretty easy read. Is this like poetry or something like that? No, it's not. Okay, it's the wrong... Oh, shit. That's the wrong thing I'm thinking of. Is it Stormblind that I'm thinking of? No, that's just a normal, regular book. I mean, Medea, I would say probably is one of my anticipated off this shelf. Yeah. So there's 2. What else would I like to read off of this shelf? Probably the Cloisters. I think this is, atmospheric, gripping. So yeah, I would say those are my top 3. So then the one I'm probably like the least out of all of these would probably be Threads That Bind, maybe, just because I think it came from Illumicrate or Fairy Loot. Yeah, Fairy Loot. And yeah, I haven't really had the best track record with a lot of their young adult and adult picks. I now just get their epic fantasy picks, which I definitely vibe with a lot more. And this one I've had for a little while. So probably that one is the one I'm not as excited to read compared to other ones. Yeah, I'll probably say like I'm going to take it to my channel members and make them vote. It's such a random ass 4-book TBR, isn't it? So one of these is going to be my first read of Snake Across My Bookshelves episode 4. Let's hope my channel members vote for the right one. Which honestly would be The Tower of the Tyrant. I think this is the one I'm the most excited for. Right, it has been 3 hours since I put out the poll, and there is a clear winner. There is a clear winner. I'll go in reverse order. So the book that got the least amount of votes was The Tower of the Tyrant by J.T. Greathouse. Yes, this was the one I was the most excited for, and they put it last. It got 20% of the vote, which is still pretty good. And then third came Threads That Bind by Kike Hatsupolo. And again, like, this could be a fantastic book, but it was the one I was the least excited for on that shelf specifically. So yeah, at least that one wasn't voted number 1. In second, they voted Medea by Rosie Hewlett, and this got 24% of the vote. So positions 2 through 4 all got pretty close. So, you know, not too much of a loss there. Like, there wasn't any, like, standout bad book that people thought, like, oh, the one of them only got, like, 5% of the vote or something. That would be concerning. But that does mean that The Cloisters by Katy Hayes has won. And honestly, I'm still happy with this. I'm still very, very happy about this one. This one follows Anne, and she's assigned to work at the Met's Gothic Museum. And this Gothic Museum is called The Cloisters. The curator of this museum is very particular and a little bit weird, and he has like an obsession into all things tarot. And Anne ends up finding a long lost, I think 15th century tarot deck that was from Italy. I've owned this for 3 years. For 3 years, my receipt from Waterstones like dropped out of the book. I forgot I kept that in there. And apparently I bought it in March 2023. We are going back in time to read a book that's been on my TBR for quite some time. So I had better get started, although I do have a true crime and wine night in just under 3 hours. So I will get ready for that. I might start reading The Cloisters in that time. As I said, I'm going away at the end of next week, so I'm still preparing for that. I'm still doing some prep work for it, writing down some things that I need to do and all of that jazz. So I might continue doing that. It might be a little bit of a hectic week, so I do hope that you bear with me. And who knows, maybe you might have fun watching me struggle a little bit this week. You lucky thing, you. Toby, I'm just about a film, and I want it to look professional. So you need to get out of the frame. I can still see your butt. I can still see your butt. Fair enough. You know what? Let's keep him in there. Let's keep him in. So I have poured myself a glass of wine because I do have True Crime and Wine Night tonight. And me and my channel members are going to be watching the new America's Next Top Model documentary on Netflix. You know, the one with Tyra Banks. And, you know, I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen enough of, like, not exactly clips, but, you know, the images with the text and all of these things that Tyra has said on the documentary. I am anticipating the stuff that's going down. So yeah, I'm ready for this. Anyway, I have actually been reading The Cloisters. I am on page 146, and like, I do kind of vaguely like this at the minute. It is feeling a little bit average, but it's really accessible. Like, I really do like the way that the author is narrating this through first person narrative from our main character, Anne. And Anne is such an interesting character. You know, she's in a situation in the first chapter that could spell trouble. It could mean that the driving force behind the plot of this book is in jeopardy. However, something like really convenient happens that prevents her from not following this path. And I was like, this is so convenient. Like, come on. Like, is that realistic, really? So first chapter, I was a little bit like, I don't know if I'm reading the right book right now. But once we have gotten to the Cloisters, once we have seen and met more characters outside of Anne, because, you know, while she is very intriguing, it's actually more so the people she meets and the people who work at the Cloisters that I am really riveted by at the minute. Like, Anne can only do so much. But the main plot of this hasn't really kicked in. So I'm just wondering when it's really going to. Because at the minute, I just feel like I'm just mindlessly following Anne and not really getting a whole lot from what is supposed to happen in this. And I'm halfway through already. It's not even 300 pages, so maybe that's why my channel members voted for this one, because out of all the ones I picked, this is actually the shortest. It's 297 pages. However, there is a guide to reading tarot at the end here, like the main character's guide to reading tarot. And I really do want more stuff about tarot to come into this. It has been mentioned a few times, and certain types and certain images have been mentioned too, but they haven't really been utilized in the plot yet. And I'm waiting for that penny to drop. I'm waiting for that to really mean something to the story. So far, it's just like hasn't really meant a whole great deal. There's also a romance I'm not really like that bothered by. So this is feeling like it could be a middle of the road book. This could be very average for me, which, you know, as long as it's not a 1-star, which it's not feeling like a 1-star. It's feeling very, as I said, middle of the road. Don't love it, don't hate it, don't have that many opinions on it, but that's because ain't enough happening for me to have an opinion on. So me and Toby are going to get ready for Reality Check. That's what the documentary is called. And I will continue this probably tomorrow, because I doubt I will be able to finish it tonight. In the meantime as well, I have been planning my High School Musical vlog. Yeah, what day is it today? Today is Saturday. Yeah, less than 2 weeks. Like, oh my god, not even 2 weeks. Like, the thing is, right, today is Saturday the 21st, and I'm going to be at this High School Musical resort. I'm going to be on this trip in literally 9 days. Like, 9 days. Like, guys, like, when I tell you, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to film these big videos. I've got so much anticipation, so much anxiety as well with it all. It is a lot of traveling, and also what I plan on doing is anxiety inducing. So this next week, there's going to be a pit in my stomach. So I'm sorry if, you know, I'm not completely all here. This is a great distraction though. Like, reading the books for Snake Across My Bookshelves and playing Snake Across My Bookshelves is a great distraction for me right now. But I must admit, I am shitting myself. Not only anxious about, you know, doing things in public and doing things like, you know, reenacting High School Musical 2 at a public resort, but also, you know, the Scream House as well. So if you don't know as well, I will have my spring TBR linked down below, but I am doing 2 massive videos in a couple of weeks a High School Musical vlog in the place they filmed High School Musical 2, and a Scream vlog as well in the actual Scream house. So these are two videos that I have been planning for a long time. They mean so much to me already. I haven't filmed them yet, but they mean so much to me already. And I'm going to do absolutely everything I possibly can to make them the best they can be. And I'm just scared. So I've got my little High School Musical 2 little plan here. So just like, I've been working on this the past few days, and I do have enough like blank space as well so that I can write down any ideas I have while I'm there, or any kind of like last minute things I need to do. But you know what I mean? I just like, I had to do it, didn't I? So like, I'm excited because I'm planning, and once it's all fully planned, I'll be less anxious as well. But it should be a great trip with any luck. Happy Sunday. I have just finished The Cloisters by Katy Hayes, and yeah, I didn't love it. It actually did remind me a little bit of The Secret History, but I'm telling you, the middle part of this, again, got exciting. My main criticisms of The Secret History was just that a whole lot of nothing happened in between this stuff that did happen, which obviously sounds like so, like, obviously. But The Secret History was overly long. This isn't even 300 pages. And I still feel like this kind of underdelivered. The idea that we are focusing on tarot, for instance, I don't think we focused enough on. In fact, I don't even think we focused on 10% of the time. It's something that I really feel like could have been such a unique aspect of this story, but it kind of really didn't. This turned into a little bit of like a kind of like a murder mystery in a way, and the only interesting thing that happens in this book are a couple of deaths, which I won't elaborate on. I won't, you know, say who, what, when, where, why. But I feel like when you're a story that relies on something like that, like something that dramatic, and everything else just kind of falls on the wayside, I don't think it's that great of a story, unfortunately. And I also don't think having this first person as well really helped with building the atmosphere of this one. I thought there would be a little bit more gothicness with the Cloisters, and just the overall vibes of this, I just didn't really feel that through the narration. I think a lot of it that is to do with the fact that this is first person. Although there have been a lot of good first person books where the atmosphere is great. Maybe like Rachel. I think Rachel was probably like the most interesting character in this, and she was more a side character who is still pretty important, but like she's not the main character. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna give like 2 stars. It's just don't feel much. I don't really feel anything with it. Very slow going. Yeah, maybe a little bit too like The Secret History for my liking. So that's probably where I went wrong. And hey, I gave The Secret History, what, 2.5 stars last month? So, I mean, could be worse. Yeah, 2 stars though. This is definitely getting 2 stars. Not the best way of starting this vlog, but if this is anything like my 24-hour reading vlog, I DNF'd the first book in that vlog, but then we improved. Like, we got better and better with the books that I read in that vlog. We started from the bottom, now we're here. So if we start from the bottom in this Snake Across My Bookshelves, maybe, just maybe, the books will improve the more that I read. Fingers crossed. Let's just hope that my members will vote for something maybe a little bit better next time. Apparently, according to my sleep, I got a score of 89 out of 100, which is fantastic. Yeah, look at that, 89, high. Duration, 6 hours, 19 minutes. I have never tracked my sleep before. I just always thought that I had bad sleep. But honestly, that genuinely made me surprised. So I'm also a little bit surprised of why I'm so tired today. I did go to the gym this morning with my new friend Matt. He drove us and then drove me back. And then, yeah, I've really just been like sitting around reading. So that probably also explains why I'm feeling maybe a little bit tired. But anyway, let's crack on with the Wyld then. Oh, I really do hope that the sound works this time. I honestly have no idea why the sound just didn't work yesterday. So shuffle 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's find out what the shelf is gonna be. Oh yay. Oh! Oh! This shelf comes up every single day across my bookshelves. You know what? You know what? Let it happen. Let it happen. The fact that this freaking shelf every episode, I swear. But you know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing because look at the snake now. It'll genuinely be so much harder to crash. Because like that's like a perfect little line right there. So yeah, I'm Definitely very unlikely to crash from that. So let's go and take a little gander at shelf number 3. Oh, I mean, Operation Bounce House. This is my March members book club pick. Maybe I could, but it's not until like mid-March that we're doing it. And I don't know if maybe this is maybe a little bit too early. I was going to take this with me on my trip and read it on my plane home. But at the minute, I feel like, I mean, if I can't pick 4 books, then I might go for it. Sorcery and Small Magics, yes. The amount of times people have told me to read this, I think it's probably finally time that I read this. So that'll be number 1. I am actually very excited to read Kings of the Wyld, which is a Broken Binding edition, and I would like to read more Broken Binding books. In my 26 books to read in 2026, this book specifically is not on that list, but I do need to read a Broken Binding book, or at least like a book from my Broken Binding subscription, to unlock that achievement. So let's do it. Let's also have Kings of the Wyld. Oh, I would need to reread the first Emily Wilde's book, I think, to read the sequel. Is Hecate, is this the poetry one? Yeah, kinda. So I could do that one as well. That would be a nice, quick, easy one. So what do I least want to read off this shelf? What would I least want to read? Maybe Heavenly Bodies? No, Evocation by S.T. Gibson. The only reason why I have this was because it is in a book box, and I didn't like A Dowry of Blood. But I've ended up keeping this because you just never know. You never know. I might end up enjoying this one. A Dowry of Blood was just like the whole second person side of things I wasn't the biggest fan of. So yeah, I feel like Evocation will probably be the one I'm the least excited about, but not exactly one that I wouldn't want to read at all, you know? So that's a cool little stack there. Time to see if my members will vote for the one I'm actually wanting to read the most. Surely will have a win at least once with them. My prediction is they're going to vote for Sorcery and Small Magics. I think that's my prediction. Okay, I stand corrected. It's only been up for 25 minutes. And Kings of the Wyld is actually winning. I mean, it could still change. I have a live show in 20 minutes. So once the live show is done, I'll look again. But it does look like it might end up being Kings of the Wyld, when I genuinely thought it would be Sorcery and Small Magics. Interesting. I am now watching Amy from Amy's Crypt. She is doing a live paranormal investigation, so I'm very excited about that. She's just started, so I thought I would stop reading Kings of the Wyld by Nicholes Eames because yes, this did win the poll. It was very apparent pretty early on in the voting that it would win. Got him. I got him. What you been doing today, huh? What you been doing today? He's been so good recently by not waking me up at arse crack of dawn these days. He's getting much better at letting me sleep. Yeah, he's pooed. That's why he's... Yeah. He's went for a poo and now he's telling me he's been for a poo. I can smell it. Okay, let me go and tackle that. Oh, he's on his little... Oh, I can't not look at him. Look at him. Oh, yeah, this is vile. This is absolutely vile. You've just been for a poo. And I feel like he thinks he's proud. Are you proud of your poop? I'm proud of your poop as well. I'm proud of your poop as well. What's this? I know, you're a good boy, really. When you gotta go, you gotta go. I get it. Do you have anything you want to say? Do you have anything you want to say to the people? Anything you want want to tell them? Do you want to see how good of a dad I am? Right, I know it's like 10 p.m. at night, so he's probably wanting some attention in some playtime, but I've got a job to do. I am 161 pages into Kings of the Wyld. I've just started chapter 18, and I'm loving it. I think it's so good. The characters, oh, chef's kiss. I love Clay. Clay, the main character. Well, actually, they're kind of all, I guess, the main character, since they are trying to get the band back together. So they were, well, apparently called like the Kings of the Wyld, so they were mercenaries. And, oh, now I can pick this up. Years and years and years ago, they were feared. They were on top of the world, and then they disbanded. They've been living their lives, and now at the very start of this book, one of Clay's friends has come to ask for help. His name is Gabriel, and did I mention what this is about yesterday? I don't think I did. But if I did, I might have accidentally said, oh, Rose gets kidnapped. Rose does not get kidnapped. So Rose is Gabriel's daughter, and she sounds proper badass. Like, she sounds fierce. She is leading her own little band of mercenaries. She's killing it. However, she might be in danger. So Gabriel is asking his former bandmates, his former mercenaries, to go and help find Rose and, save him. And this is mainly what this has been about so far. So Gabriel does convince Clay to go with him. And it's so sweet because it really does feel like a found family. And even though Clay seems like such a tough brute of a man, like, he's so vulnerable, and he'll cry, and he has a sensitive side. He loves his daughter so much, and his wife will do anything for them. And I love a character like that. I love the fact that he can reflect on the past as well. Like, his glory days, he thinks, are over. And now he gets pains. He gets up, so many times during the night to pee. And, like, things that I can relate to. And things that people go through, like normal people go through as they age. But, like, these are, like, fantasy characters. But they feel very, very real. So, yeah, now they've gone off, Clay and Gabriel, to find the other members of their band. And yeah, this is like such a fantastical world as well. And so the elements of fantasy have creeped in. One of the like former bandmates, I thought the mercenaries would just be like normal people, but one of them is a wizard and the other one is a king. And I was just like, oh, I'm loving the fact that these characters are so different, and trying to get to these characters and trying to convince them to leave with them, and even like trying to get them out of their current situations is so fun to watch and so fun to read. And it really does enhance every single character I've met so far. And I just freaking love them. I think they're great. Humor is pretty good as well. The king's wife, she did some like innuendos which were really funny. And I have been writing in this. I have been annotating. I know, it's like a beautiful addition. I'm not going to live forever, but like, I really wanted to. Like, this is such a beautiful edition. I feel naughty, but I genuinely don't mind writing in my special editions, to be fair. Or like, there was some sweet moments at the very start between Clay and his daughter. Like, that was so sweet. And he is a good man. It really is. I'm very excited to follow these characters now. I know there is a sequel, which I do already have. It came from the Broken Binding. And then literally I got maybe 100 pages into this and I was like, is there a third book? Am I getting the third book in the Broken Binding? But it doesn't seem like there's any news about the third book just yet. I feel like it was supposed to come out a couple of years ago, but it just hasn't. So that's kind of disappointing. I was hoping that there would be more, because I would definitely... I mean, it's probably speaking too soon, but I have just really been enjoying it. Like, seriously, like, so fun, so entertaining, characters are great, plot so far is great. Yeah, I've got no complaints. No complaints whatsoever. And I would have continued on as well. I feel like I could have made it to page 200, but then Amy's crypt went live, and I had to watch the live investigation, which, yeah, they've only been doing it. It's now 10:26 p.m, so they've only been doing it for about 20 minutes. And so, like, there's more to enjoy. I need to get back to watching this. I did film my book haul today, and I have the early access up for my members, which isn't going up until I think maybe the 13th of March. It is currently the 23rd of February. So the early access is lasting a long time. But I am glad that's done, because yeah, this is going to be a bit of a crazy week, because I do need to get prepped for leaving. Like, literally this time next week, I think I'll still be on a plane. Which is, like, the closer it's getting, like, the more excited but also, like, nervous I'm getting as well. But yeah, I do need to sort the house out this week for my friend staying on Sunday, and he will be looking after my cats next week. So I do want to make sure that things are tidy. I want to do the washing and just stuff like that, Just make sure the house is looking good. I also did training today. I played with Ash and Tobu today. Like, seriously, I'm boring, I know. But with it now being February 2026, I'm feeling good about this year. and I'm feeling stable. You know, I'm feeling very stable. The routine might not change that much, but I don't think the routine needs to change too much anyway. I feel like we're at a point now where the day-to-day of my life is working for me, which is good, which is very good. And there's Tobu, just in his little broken vinyl box. Hello, Tobu. Hello, Tobu.
I've been here. Sheesh. I've been here 2 times now, and I like coming to talk to you.
Oh my god, I have just booked something outrageous for Vlogs of Halloween. This is a different thing. I haven't said anything about it yet. But I've been emailing over the weekend and we've just confirmed it. It's happening. Oh, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be so crazy. So I need to reply to that. I've just got an email there. But anyway, I have been listening to the audiobook of Kings of the Wyld, and I'm now on chapter 33, so I'm nearly 300 pages in. Yep, page 298. And I've been doing like a lot of housework today, so I can get the house ready and fresh for my friend coming on Sunday to look after Ash and Tobu. So I had a lot of housework to do, and I still have a lot of housework to do. It is currently just after 12, and my friend Matt is coming to pick me up, so we're going to go to the gym together. And I wasn't planning on doing that. I wasn't planning on going today, but when he says, hey, do you want to go? I'll give you a lift. I'm not going to say no, am I? So yeah, I'm going to be doing that. So I've paused the housework. I've paused this book, and I'll continue when I get back. Like, I need to sort out the living room. I need to hoover still, like the entire house. I also need to use this that my mum got me to like try and get like the cat hair out of the floor, because it's just so much cat hair and it just won't come up from the like actual, you know, hoover. So I will also do that. But yeah, I'm still really enjoying Kings of the Wyld. I loved the scenes at the arena, which the cover illustration I think depicts. It was so exciting and so good, and I'm loving how fast-paced this book is. They're not really staying in one place for too long. It's feeling like a proper grand adventure, and I'm learning a little bit more about the characters. I'm learning more about their dynamics and what went wrong in the past, and kind of like unresolved feelings that have gone on for so long as well. Just like completely enhances their connections as well. I'm freaking loving the characters in this. I will say though, there's a weird amount of references to erections. Like, so many references. I can't complain too much, but like, still. And I think one of the characters might be gay. Like, it keeps getting brought up a little bit, but like, I don't know if it's like factual. I don't know if it's confirmed, but like, you know, someone would randomly say something like, oh, and I thought he was gay, no offense to you. And he's like, well, why would I be offended? You know, like things like that, which is kind of funny. It's feeling like a proper good 4.5. I don't think I can give it quite a 5. And I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I don't want to give it a 5 just yet. Unless the last, I think I've got like 200 pages left, maybe, like just under 200 pages. Not take me too long. I think I'm comparing it too much to other 5-star fantasies, like The Will of the Many for me, and like Dungeon Crawler Call and stuff like that. So a 5 is going to be a stretch, but we'll see what it does. And the minute just having so much fun with it. And that's the key word, fun. It's just so fun. I have since finished Kings of the Wyld, and I did really enjoy this one. I'm going to give it a 4-star. This could also almost act a little bit like a standalone, so I'm not in any rush really, and I brought it with me. I got it off the shelves just to show you. I don't feel like I need to rush into the sequel just yet, Bloody Rose, but I am so glad that the Broken Binding had an edition of it. Like, this is so cool. This is so bloody gorgeous. And yeah, I'm so glad that I ended up really enjoying this one. I think this was like the most recent Broken Binding like subscription fantasy one. Oh, and also I will be unlocking the gold quest for my 26 books to read in 2026, and it will be for the book box quest. I was supposed to read any Broken Binding subscription book, and I will pop the trophy. So let's pop that trophy. Yeah, I don't really think I can say a whole lot more than what I've already said. I still really thoroughly enjoy the characters. There was confirmation of a gay character, which I did appreciate. The fact that these older characters are able to prove that they still have it after all this time is just so inspiring to me. I just really enjoyed how a lot of the times they were underestimated, but they knocked it out of the park. They absolutely knocked it out of the park. I fell in love with these band of characters. I thought they were great. I had a lot of fun. I feel like I'm repeating myself now. And I also had a lot of fun at the gym with my friend. And I did manage to get a lot more of the housework done when I got home. Managed to get the washing done, the drying done, the dishes done. Pretty much the kitchen is done. The living room is a little bit messy still, but it's going to continue being that way because the cats are always bloody messy. Let's spin the wheels 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And spin that wheel. Please be a paperback shelf. There's so much more options on a paperback shelf. 24 could be good. $24 could be good. That is, yeah, I'm sure that's a paperback shelf. So 24 is all the way down here. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Looking like a backwards 7. And 7 is my lucky number. So this could be good for us. Oh, this is interesting indeed. So this is shelf number 24. Interesting. Okay, I actually feel like I've read quite a lot on this. For the ones that I'm the most excited to read, let's just pull some out. I would say A Sorceress Comes to Call by Kingfisher could be a good one. True Crime by Samantha Collisnick has been on my shelves for ages, so that could be really good. Murder Pirates Cove as well, a male murder mystery kind of thing. That could also be really good. I would love to read The Legend of Podkin One Ear as well, like a middle grade. I've been wanting to start the series for a long time. But I'm like, I don't think that's the least excited for that I'm on. Oh, well, okay, maybe the least. Oh, my members will vote for it. They'll vote for it. Guild by Raven Kennedy. After reading Powerless by Lauren Roberts, I don't think I'm going to end up enjoying this one, but I just have a feeling that my members will vote for it. But I'm going to have to put it in the poll because, yeah, I feel like it would be a disservice if I didn't put the one I'm the least excited for. And like, this was a friend recommendation. In fact, I think it was the same friend who recommended me Powerless by Lauren Roberts. And I read that in the last Snake Across My Bookshelves as well, Powerless. So, I mean, it could still be good. It could still be good, but I do think this is probably the one I'm the least excited for. For the most excited, maybe true crime. Maybe true crime is the one I'm the most excited for because I've been wanting to read this for such a long time. And it's horror, and I do feel in a bit of a horror mood. So that one, and then, yeah, I mean, I still would love to read A Sorceress Comes to Call and Murder at Pirates Cove. So I'm going to do a poll for these four, see what wins. Notice anything different about me? And I know you guys are going to say, Gavin, you look so good with the grey hair, like, you should embrace the grey, and I do embrace the grey, but sometimes I just want to dye my hair like my natural colour. It's looking a little bit dark right now, so I think it just needs a few more washes for it to like properly take. And I do still have like some bits of hair dye on my skin, so again I just need to keep washing it, you know, and just make it look a little bit better than it does right now. But yeah, don't get me wrong, I do like the grey every now and then, but you know, sometimes just got the urge to dye it. And I am going away next week and I'm doing the High School Musical video. And honestly, because I'm doing something that is a little bit more like, you know, like for younger audiences, although my vlog will definitely not be. But like, say for instance, when I did my Pretty Little Liars video, I had a comment and it was hilarious. Like, don't get me wrong, it was hilarious. Where they were like, what gives you the right to talk about young adult books when your temples are grey? It was something like that. And honestly, it made me laugh so much. Like, it did gag me. It did. But it's just so funny. So yeah, I dyed it before going to the High School Musical resort. So hopefully I don't get comments being like, what do you think you're doing, old man? You know what I mean? And so yeah, don't worry, the grey will come back. It will come back. Anyway, it is the next day. It is currently Wednesday morning. My mum's just been, and she's the one who helped dye my hair along with my sister. And she got me some sushi. So I am going to have some sushi now as I enjoy myself another coffee. And I did start A Sorceress Comes to Call yesterday because that has won the poll. I genuinely thought that they would vote for Wyld, but they came through for me. They really did. Yeah, at the minute, Sorceress Comes to Call has 34%, and then Murder at Pirates Cove has 26%, True Crime has 22%, and then Wyld has 19%. So Wyld actually lost. Wyld did lose. So yeah, Sorceress Comes to Call by Kingfisher. I should have known because I do think a lot of people love Kingfisher. And don't get me wrong, I do. I did burn myself out a little bit with Kingfisher books last year because I read them pretty much back to back. But I definitely feel in the mood to have some Kingfisher again in my life. I will say though that this one's feeling just fine so far. We are following Cordelia. She lives with her mother. Her mother is a sorceress and she has this power to make people obedient. And it like essentially like strips away their free will. And that's essentially what she's been doing to Cordelia, her daughter, which is honestly so bad. Like, the mother is an awful person, a very interesting character to follow though. Like, I do love when she's on the page because I do think she helps to enhance the story with like what she does and stuff, like being able to explore that. I mean, it's definitely awful what she does, and especially like the plan she has now of marrying this old bachelor and infiltrating like this family and, you know, kind of making a better life for herself, which honestly I kind of low-key respect. The hustle is real, you know, so I can't fault her for that. And yeah, she's saying that Cordelia is now old enough to like court. Cordelia is only like 14 and a half years old, but her mother is trying to pass her off as 17. The treatment of Cordelia is freaking awful. And I am rooting for Cordelia. I do really like her. I feel so sorry for her, but I do really like her. And I also really like the Squire's sister, Hester. Hester and Cordelia have been like chatting and getting closer and stuff, so that's been really nice. But like, it's not really like a riveting storyline for me per se. Like, I'm not that bothered by it. I do believe this is a fairy tale retelling, maybe. I know Kingfisher does a lot of fairy tale retellings. My favourite one is still The Raven and the Reindeer, which retells the Snow Queen. But I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a fairy tale. It doesn't say it anywhere, but I'm pretty sure I read that online. So far, the story's fine. It's just fine. The writing's fine. I don't really have any strong opinions towards it. I'm just reading it and like, yeah, okay. I don't know if maybe like my mindset right now is that I need more higher engaging reads because I do have an impending trip and that's kind of taken away some of my attention. I feel like I need something a little bit more grabby, and I don't think this one is very grabby. But at the same time, there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just not commanding my attention. And the storyline is just fine. So yeah, I'm going to continue reading. It's not even 12 yet. I did training this morning. Sister picked me up, dyed my hair, all this, that, and the other. It is my nephew's birthday on Saturday, so I saw him as well today. How old is he going to be now? 2015. I think he's going to be 11. Yeah, I think it's his 11th birthday. Oh my gosh. Cannot believe how quickly my nieces and nephews are growing up. Genuinely. It blows my mind. Another reason why I'm dyeing my hair is I feel old enough as it is. You guys are gonna hate me. I think this might be the last T. Kingfisher book I ever read. I wasn't a big fan. I didn't like the plot. I found the plot to be really, really boring. There were exciting moments, there were deaths. That was pretty exciting. I liked Cordelia as a character, gradually finding her voice as the book went on and being able to stand up to her abusive mother. But I just feel like the entire thing I could have done without. I didn't take to the storyline. The main thing I wanted from this book were the characters, and I do think that they delivered. Evangeline, Cordelia's mother, definitely a villain who I despised, but I really did find some enjoyment following her in without like spoiling anything. Just the standing up against her, the challenging of her from Cordelia, as well as like other characters as well, was very good. I did like some of the other characters. I liked Penelope. I liked the resistance against Evangeline, but overall I just found this boring. I'm sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. It failed to capture my interest. I do feel like I've read better T. Kingfisher books. But yeah, like this past year I've read quite a few and I just haven't really loved them. They've kind of gradually gotten worse for me. And I loved like The Raven and the Reindeer. I think that might still be my favourite T. Kingfisher. And I read that like 5 years ago, I want to say like 6 years ago. But I feel like every single one since has just like gradually gotten worse from the last. And yeah, so 2 stars for this. Probably the last T. Kingfisher I ever read. This was the last T. Kingfisher book on my officially owned TBR. I've read every single other T. Kingfisher book in this room. So I doubt I will ever buy another T. Kingfisher. I'm sorry. Unless there's a story that just captures my imagination. Say there's a plot of one of them that I just think, oh yeah, that sounds like it's going to be my thing. Then I will maybe pick it up, maybe get it from the library. But I do think I'm just going to wash my hands with T. Kingfisher now, which I know is going to upset a lot of people. I do apologise. Please forgive me. Back to the wheels. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Spin. Oh. $17. Well, 17 goes... Oh my god, that was a terrible line. Terrible. That was shocking. 17. Oh, this feels also terrible. Hang on. We'll get it right. It's just the way that I'm sitting. The way I've got the computer. Oh, that might just have to do. That just might have to do. Do a little circle. Oh my god, the circle was terrible. Jeez, what is wrong with me today? Okay. Yeah, that looks fine. And it looks like a backwards Z now. So we went from a backwards 7 to a backwards Z. I don't know what that means, but hopefully it means it's something good. And I think it's a hardback shelf. So again, the options might not be as broad. Right, okay. 17 is this shelf. And yeah, I mean, To Shape a Dragon's Breath is in my 26 books reading 2026, but I don't know if this is the right video for that. I mean, there are some good ones on here that I'd love to read. Hang on, let's just pull out all the ones I would love to read. To Shape a Dragon's Breath, Tribesman, Guillotine, House of Idol, because I literally just recently read Bloom, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it like 4.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Cubs and Campfires has been on many a TBR, and just haven't been able to actually read it. What else do I fancy? I've read these T. Kingfisher books. The Girl and the Dragon could be good. Again, like a middle grade. Or He's So Possessed with Me could be good. See, the thing is, though, I feel like To Shape a Dragon's Breath would win. I don't think I can handle this right now. It's quite a big one. Yeah, it's over 500 pages. This will be the one I'm the most excited for, and it is in my 26 books reading 2026. But I can't do it in this video. I just don't think I've got it in me to do a fantasy, and I don't want to jeopardize liking it. So I might do Tribesman. I'll pick one Delilah S. Dawson, so I'll choose Guillotine for the next one. So 1, 2. Cubs and Campfires. I will do. He's so possessed with me. See, this looks really good. But also be pretty cool for. Oh wait, hang on. I'm supposed to pick 3 that I'm excited for, and 1 that I'm not as excited for. I don't think there's one on here that I'm not as excited for, to be honest. I mean, Ash is making me think we'll prescribe you a cat. The only reason why I think we'll prescribe you a cat might be my least looking forward to is because I'm just not having the best time at the minute with Japanese healing fiction. I haven't been giving them very good ratings recently. So I feel like these should be my top 3 of what I want to read. These 2 because I would love to read some horror. Clubs and Campfires, gay romance. This might be the one I'm the least looking forward to. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks cute. And I did buy it because, you know, I love cats. And it could be very cute. But I don't know if healing fiction is for me. I really don't. I DNF'd the last one I read. But let's do a poll. Let's see which one of these 4 my members end up voting for. So it's 3 hours later, and the poll has been live for quite some time. And it does look like Cubs and Campfires by Dylan Drakes is winning. And it is a little bit close between this and Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson, but I don't think it's going to be changing because I've been checking it for like the last hour and this has been like prominent. So I think it's like only like 3% between them, but it's kept in the lead. So I'm going to take that as this has won the poll and I'm going to start it because why not? It is Wednesday night. I may make myself a decaf because you know me, I love me a decaf coffee. Maybe put some pistachio in it. Maybe. Or toasted marshmallow. And I've got some red seedless grapes here as well. And I'm currently on my phone right now as well. So if the audio quality is not as great, I apologize. Oh, and yeah, this is a steamy gay romance as well. And we follow Luca, who becomes a fire watch in the picturesque mountains of Washington State. And he thinks it's going to be a very isolating job. He doesn't really want to know anyone or talk to anyone, really. But there is the arrival of the husky and flirtatious Orte, a musician and wilderness enthusiast who takes up camp nearby. I've heard this is really steamy. And you know what, like with romance, I was a little bit burned out after binging the Game Changer series by Rachel Reed, but I do think I'm ready for this. I think I'm ready for a romance. Guys, I'm like literally 2 seconds later. I went to log the book into my story graph in Pagebound just to make sure that the page count was right. I checked and there's only like 230 pages. 230 pages. I could get that, it's 7 p.m. now. I could get that done by like 10, 11 p.m. Should we do a little late night, little sleepover? Should we just do a little sleepover in the living room? Get all nice and cozy under the blankets and just blast through this very steamy romance. It'll be so easy to do. Oh, I literally just flick through there. I think this is to show passage of time. Look how cute that is. It's like a little sleeping bear. Oh, that's so adorable. Oh my god. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
If you see me walking down the street, staring at the sky, and dragging my 2 feet, you just pass me by. It still makes me cry, but you can make me whole again.
I think you could see Jade sprints in my window. Although it kind of looks like the TV's outside. It's not. It's not. Jade is currently doing sprints. And I have made it to page 109. And the actual spice is starting to happen. So that's why I thought I would give you my intermission, my thoughts on this as I'm halfway through. And I do like this. And I like the fact that it is hot and heavy on the sexual attraction. So there isn't really a whole lot going for it beneath the surface. Like, it feels a little bit shallow, and it is more to do with like the raw magnetism between these two men. The ending is very nice, I will say. I do love the slow build of their intimacy, but like, so far there's been like a few moments where I've had to suspend my disbelief, because I can't believe the amount of times they've seen each other naked before this point. And bear in mind, okay, so Luca has taken this job so that he can be celibate. Like, he wants to be celibate, and he's trying so hard to resist temptation, so that's why he did it. Is he thinks it's going to be like remote and like nobody's going to be there. However, Arthur does come by. He is camping nearby, and I'm telling you, like, the first time they meet, like, it's like a sitcom almost. It's so bizarre. And then there's like a returning of the favor. I'm trying to be so vague about this, but I'm just like, they pretty much say so much of one another, like, and I'm like, I don't understand how this can actually happen in real life. So that's why I feel like you need a little bit of suspension of disbelief for this one, because I just don't think I just don't think these types of scenarios are that believable. But I am enjoying my time. It is it's definitely geared up for the actual intimacy part of it. So it's taken this long, but there has been like a little bit more of a fantasy side of things coming up to this point. So it hasn't been like completely dry. There's been a lot of like internal stuff and imaginings, let's just say. But I don't really know a whole lot more about these characters beyond some of the surface level things we've been told. So I don't know if this is, and honestly, it's absolutely fine for romances to be just about the raw sexual magnetism between characters. In Arte, I'm telling you, and even Luca, actually, both of these characters, I absolutely would. Put me in that situation. Sometimes you just gotta lead with the loins. And that's what I'm feeling like this book is giving. It's leading with the loins. But I do know there's an epilogue, and I swear to fuck, like, we're having all this, you know, like, sexual magnetism, and then if it ends with a fucking wedding, I'm giving this 2 stars. I'm gonna tell you right here, right now. I'm over a star. At the minute, it's feeling like a 3.5. So I guess it probably will be a spoiler if I tell you what I rated at the end after I read the epilogue. I do apologize for that. But yeah, just a little heads up on that. I hope that if it's going to go that one route for the chemistry between the characters, I hope it stays that way all the way through, and not like, I mean, obviously you can have all that sexual magnetism and it can be very romantic by the end as well. I totally get that. But yeah, this is not that long of a book again. I've nearly finished. You know what I mean? I only have like 120 pages to go. That would be a fast falling in love if there is a fucking wedding at the end. And though I guess an epilogue as well, there'll be a time jump. But I don't want to know about it. I genuinely do not want to know about it. I wish all romances would just cut out the epilogues. They are never needed. And that's my hot take. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Oh, good grief, I'm sweating. But I don't want to take my dressing gown off. I don't want to do it. The thing is, the moment I take it off, my arms start to get cold again. Anyway, I finished Cups and Campfires, and it was very cute. It was very cute. I'm going to give it a 3.5. And you know what? The epilogue did not offend me, okay? Maybe as the years have gone on, I have become more mellow, and I don't mind epilogues as much as I used to. So it definitely held up the steamy level. And I also really love the focus on just showing how beautiful bigger bodies are. There is also a really cute fox called Bowie, or Bowie, and there were just so many instances of cuteness overload that I do think made this a rather cozy, lovely, down-to-earth kind of romance. And we did progressively get more of the personality between the characters. It wasn't just that sexual magnetism that I thought it was when I started this. They do really get a little bit more involved. You see a lot about them through their careers and what is actually important to them, which I found very sweet. I would so be down for the sequel. It doesn't say what the sequel's called in here, but I did see it when I logged it on Storygraph. It's something like, God, what was it called again? Like Bears and... It wasn't Bears and Bookshops, was it? Bears and something. The cover looks amazing. I do love the cover of this. It's genuinely adorable. And it's great to cool you down as well. Look, the heating isn't even on. Like, what is going on? Maybe it's this book. Maybe this book has, like, heated me up from the core. Because, yeah, the sex scenes were long as well. Like, damn, these were not short and quick sex scenes. They were long. So maybe I'm just having a hot flash after reading that. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Oh, did I tell you guys that I took off the shelves that I read for in my From Red to Red reading vlog? I took those shelves off. I don't want those shelves. I don't want those shelves. So, I apologize if you think that's cheating. But I feel like I'm doing it for you guys. You know, nobody wants to see the same shelves over and over. So, let's shuffle 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and spin. Woo! 60, that's like right next to where we were, right? That's right next to where we were. And would 10 have meant that we would crash as well? Let's just double check that. Oh, we've been saved. We have been saved. We were so close to crashing after only 4 books being read. So if I had have gotten 10, I would have had to have done this because it was so close to being 10. I would have had to have done that and we would have crashed. However, the very last second, we got number 16. We're still in the game. We're still in the game. Oh my gosh. And it should be a good shelf as well. I don't think I've highlighted this shelf before. So let's see what's on it. Oh my god, it was nearly over for us. But we are so back. And it is so late right now as well. It is like 11 p.m. Okay, 16. 16 is this shelf. So we have another Tea Kingfisher there, but that's my favourite one. This is my favourite Tea Kingfisher. I've read this one. But I'm like, Jesus Christ, she's on like every freaking shelf we've landed on. So on this shelf, I haven't read Cafe con Leche. I haven't read A Lesson in Vengeance. I haven't read The Keeper. Cuban Girl's Guide to Tomorrow. The Midnight Shift. Time Maker's Apprentice, Straight Until Morning. Oh my gosh, I haven't read so many on this shelf. Sleepy Hollow, Grave books, the Avatar books, Black Girls Must Die Exhausted, Killer House Party, and Hook, Line and Sinker. Those are the books I have not yet read on this shelf. Oh, okay. The top 3 books I would like to read. Well, first you have to put the Avatar ones back because I haven't caught up with Avatar The Last Airbender, so I don't think I'd be able to read those and understand what's going on. I would say The Midnight Shift, definitely. Oh, actually, was I going to take this one to Seoul? I'm going to South Korea this year, and I was going to take this with me. But, I mean, there's so many options I could pick, so I could just... I could just... Yeah, that's probably number 1. Oh my god. Black Girls Must Die Exhausted, I've had for a while. This could be really good, so yeah, I'll probably say that one. And Killer House Party, I would probably say. I think those are my top 3. Okay. The one I really don't want to read on here now, like looking at them all. I mean, obviously the Time Maker's Apprentice is Christmas, but I'm going to put that one back. I don't think it's in the running. But the one I genuinely do not really feel like I want to read is A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. Just like the healing fiction, I seem to have kind of fallen out of love with it. So Dark Academia is not really the one for me anymore. I read The Secret History last month and I didn't love it. And I'm worried that Dark Academia is not the one for me. I've also owned this for, I think, maybe about 5 years, whenever it came out. It was pretty hyped up back in the day. But, yeah, this is a very eclectic top 4. It's upside down. I'm sorry. I need to hold this as I'm holding this, so I do apologize. This is a very eclectic mix of books from this shelf. I really feel like I've been reading some random ass books in this vlog. Like, very random. Or at least, like, the options I've had have been quite random, like, overall, I would say. Fingers crossed for me, I do not have to read Lesson Adventures. I mean, I could end up loving it, but Dark Academia, oh, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could. Oh, and guys, watch this. So, Cubs and Campfires, it is on shelf number 38. And if we go on here, shelf number 38 is in the red, 46.7. And change that to red. Hey, it's gone green. It has gone green. And yes, shelf number 34, which I did turn green in my from red to red, has gone back to red. And that's because of the Bobaverse books. The friggin' Bobaverse books, they fit on that shelf. It's gone down to 48%. So I'm gonna have to turn that green again. Oh god, we've only been voting for 4 minutes. Look at what's in the lead. Look at what's in the freaking lead. Seriously, guys. Seriously. I will say, though, when I got the summary for Lessons of Vengeance and I refamiliarized myself with what it's about, it does sound good. I would have picked this up because it does sound good. But over the years, Dark Academia has not agreed with me. Okay? There's only been a couple that I've liked, and it's concerning. So, I mean, this is, again, after only 4 minutes. So, there's still time. There's still time for this to change. It's close between those 3, so maybe one of them will overtake.
Basically, this country is being threatened. People are trying to infiltrate. What they're actually trying to accomplish by coming into the country, maybe we don't fully know. We probably will never know. But what we do know is there's like 10,000 people at any given moment who are working on this wall. And it starts out meeting this guy, Kavanaugh, and we're through his eyes, and he is getting introduced to...
All right, let's check the poll. I know exactly what it's going to be. I guess it was bound to happen eventually, but let's just double check. Yeah. A Lesson of Vengeance, as a film in this, is winning 30%. 30% of the vote. So hey, I'm open-minded. I might end up loving this. I do love the sound of it though. It follows Felicity, who used to go to a very prestigious school. I think it's like Dalloway Hall or something. Just Dalloway School. And about a year ago, her girlfriend died. And so flash forward a year, Felicity has returned to graduate. And she is staying in the hall where it's rumoured that there are ghosts. The ghosts of, I think, 5 witches. The Dalloway 5 all died mysteriously, one after another. And witchcraft is woven into Dalloway's past. I picked this up thinking that I would enjoy this. And I might still. But An Academy for Liars, I really didn't like. Secret History, I really didn't like. I love the idea of the witch aspect of it. And I love the idea of the plot of this one. But I just think Dark Academia is just not for me anymore. I got caught up in that hype. When was it? When was that Dark Academia hype on BookTube? Was it like 2020, 2021, 2022? Around then. This is text copyright 2021. So this has been out for like 5 years. That must have been when I bought this. So 5 years down the line, I'm a changed woman, okay? Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But I just know I've been changed for good. So what I've decided to do is, because I've been shafted with the book that I was the least excited about on that shelf, and again, I am staying open-minded, I might end up loving this and giving it 5 stars. But since I got the bottom book, and we do not do bottoms in this household, I'm gonna treat myself to a cheeky Costa. I will. I'm going to treat myself to a cheeky Costa. What day is it today? Oh god, it's Thursday today. Literally, this time last Thursday, I was at Costa. Or, like, thereabouts. Because I did my 24-hour reading vlog. I was awake from midnight to midnight, and I went to Costa that morning. Hey, Thursday could be a good little Costa date day. I'm not going to the gym today. My body is absolutely killing me. Absolutely killing me. I have my last personal training session tomorrow before I go away. So I need to try and get ready for that. Like, my back is killing me. But like in a good way, you know, like when you've got like good pains. That's how I feel right now. So I'd better get ready. It's like 9 AM. I don't want it to get too busy there. It might already be busy actually. We'll see how we get on when we get down there. trying to see if going in the shower more helps make the hair dye look a little bit more lighter. So I've just come out of the shower and I still have like little marks on my skin. If anyone has any good tips of getting like hair dye off your skin, please let me know. I also couldn't resist going into Morrison's on my way home, and I'm going to try some like lactose-free milk. I've been using oat milk for like the last 2 years, but I don't kind of want to like branch out and stuff and see what I end up enjoying. So I made myself a cup of coffee. It's still a little bit too hot right now, so I will try it out, see if I do like the lactose-free milk. Also, guys, I've been obsessed with these. This is not sponsored, I promise, but Deliciously Ella apple and almond breakfast bakes and roasted peanut breakfast bakes as well. I tried these for the first time a few days ago and I absolutely loved it. I thought they were so tasty, and so I bought like 2 boxes today of each. So yeah, I'm gonna dive into, I might have like 2, like 1 of each, like in a second. I have also just come home as well to one of my pre-orders, Witch Trial by Harriet Tice. Harriet Tice was on the Traitors, the UK Traitors, recently, and she is a thriller author. This is like her 4th book. There's like a modern day witch trial, I think in the metaphorical sense, and there are 2 teenage girls. One of the classmates is murdered, and yeah, there's like a witch hunt kind of thing. And I really liked Harriet Tice in The Traitors as well, so I kind of want to save this for my 2nd episode of TBR Traitors, which I'm looking to do hopefully by like end of March, start of April. And I did get this signed one from Waterstones, so that's awesome. Anyway, sorry, let's get back into my reading. Actually, I managed to get to page 132 as I was sitting in Costa, and I am very happy to report actually that I am enjoying this. Like, I'm kind of liking it. I mean, there's definitely the things about Dark Academia that I don't like, so I feel like I'm being able to figure out what that is as I'm reading this. I don't really like it when they talk about their studies. Like, I really don't like it when they talk about their classes. I'm not interested. I don't care about art history. I don't care about what you're doing, you know, in the class and what you're learning and stuff. I genuinely don't care. And it hasn't been that much of a focus in this book. It's actually been a lot more about Felicity and her return to Dalloway. And she meets Ellis there. Ellis is a writer, and it's like kind of like their connection as we are slowly finding out what happened to Alex, who was Felicity's previous girlfriend, who died like a year ago. And like literally I was about to stop reading at the end of chapter 9. And I got to the end of chapter 9 and I was like, oh my god, we just kind of find out what happened, but also kind of not. And I was like so riveted. I was like, wait, what the fuck do you mean by this? And so I had to read chapter 10, but chapter 10 was freaking long. And I'd already finished my drink. And I was like just sitting there like, oh, I'll just read this chapter. I'll just read this one more chapter while Costa was getting more busy because it was the dinner time. So I felt rude for just sitting there with a book and no coffee. Is this cool enough to drink yet? I mean, it tastes absolutely fine. We'll definitely make that work. We'll see how I respond to it. But I love hearing about the Dalloway 5, you know, the 5 girls who were, I mean, who knows exactly what happened per se. There were definitely some weird ritualistic things going on back in the day, and learning about that very slowly has been really riveting as well. I do really like finding out about Alex because we did have that little flashback to kind of what happened, but I don't know if I can trust Felicity. I don't know if I can trust what she says or anything like that. We haven't really had enough of a trust built with her as our main character or POV character. So I'm trying to hold reservations when it comes to the information we're learning. And the writing is absolutely fine as well. Like, I'm enjoying the descriptions of Dalloway School. I like the like kind of witchy vibes. Like, is it witchy? Is it not? There's something a little bit more suggestive when it comes to that. And I like the little bits of, I guess, like horror that is being brought into it. Again, like very suggestive, but I like when it happens. There's been some stuff to do with like tarot cards and kind of like palm reading. So stuff like that is really fascinating to me. And definitely better than the Cloisters, which I read for the first book in this vlog. Definitely better than that, because I could probably compare the Cloisters with this one, especially since the Cloisters had a lot to do with tarot cards and things like that. So this definitely, I feel like, is scratching the itch that the Cloisters failed to scratch. Okay, now I need to stop while I wait for Tobo's mouth sounds to stop, because he's just enjoying his dinner, bless him. Oh, you're going to the other bowl as well, jeez. It's what I get for doing a vlog update right next to the cat food, isn't it? Oh my god, you greedy little bastard. Like, seriously, he's eating the food from both of the bowls? Are you done? Another thing that's prevented me from giving this like a 5-star or anything is that the only characters who I feel are being fully fleshed out are Felicity, Ellis, and Alex. There are like some side characters, there are other characters who live in the same hall as them, but it's kind of that thing where the author is forcefully making them as mysterious as possible, so they kind of come across as a little bit shallow, and it's a little bit transparent what the author is trying to do with them. So I kind of don't love the outside characters or anything like that, but the 3 core characters I think are getting done pretty well. I do kind of like them, I like following them, so yeah, so far so good, which again, like, I'm very impressed with, I'm very pleasantly surprised with. Could be the first Dark Academia book I've enjoyed since Bunny and If We Were Villains, and I read both of those back in 2022. I can't remember ones I've read since then that I've liked. I should make a list.
Keeping in time with the beat of that old refrain. Sideways, like I knew you before. I can't shake the feeling of losing something that we just found. One in a million, once in a lifetime, only a moment, that's all we got. Maybe I could have loved you in another timeline. Could you have loved me too if our stars aligned? If our stars aligned, maybe we were twin flames in a past life. Same souls with different names. In a past life, in a past life.
Oh no. Okay, guys, I accidentally fell asleep, right? While reading A Lesson Vengeance. I have now finished, but it's much later, and I fell asleep. When I woke up, I was craving pineapple, so I ate a shit ton of pineapple. Let's just say, I think it was like 500 grams. Like, it was a tub thing that I bought from Morrison's today. But the pineapple and stuff that I bought from Morrison's as well, I didn't just get those delicious Ella things. I also got like a lot of fruit. And there was like a tub of pineapple, essentially. You know, one of those like kind of things. You know what I mean? And I pretty much nearly ate the whole thing. I was just like non-stop eating. And my tongue started burning. My tongue's, and it's burning now, and it's been about 4 hours since I had that. And I was like, okay, it's okay, like, I'm sure by the time I finish Lesson of Vengeance, my tongue will feel normal. It's still burning. And I've just Googled, can you eat too much pineapple? Yes, you can eat too much pineapple. While nutritious, excessive consumption can lead to mouth soreness, tongue burning, diarrhea, nausea, and in some case, severe abdominal pain or heartburn due to high levels of bromelain and acidity. I think I've just screwed myself over. Look, it was just so good. It was just so good. I love pineapple, and I overdid it. Oh no. The enzyme bromelain breaks down proteins, which can lead to tenderness, burning, or tingling in the mouth, lips, and cheeks. Fortunately, it's just really my tongue that's burning right now. I mean, it's definitely not as bad as it was 4 hours ago, but it's still not great. And I always suffer from acid reflux. I always take tablets for that. Why did I do it? Why could I not have just like had a couple and just put it back in the fridge? I'm so greedy. Anyway, I have finished A Lesson in Vengeance, and I'm going to give this one 3 stars. I definitely liked it more than I thought I would. Way better than I expected. But I don't think I really liked the ending. There was just so much setup that I think led to absolutely nothing in terms of the stuff to do with the school. I wasn't really expecting some of the twists with the characters, I will say, but I feel like it made some of the other plot points that were being built up rather redundant. I don't think I quite liked the ending. I don't think I quite liked the direction it took, to be honest. There was always like that fine line between what is real and what isn't, and you kind of have to take certain people's words for things. And yeah, I don't think I liked the ending. But it was highly entertaining. And that's something that, say for instance, A Sorceress Comes to Call lacked. I do prefer this over A Sorceress Comes to Call, which honestly blows me away. I never thought I would say the day I would rate a T. Kingfisher book lower than a Dark Academia book that I had reservations about. I didn't think this would happen. So even though this was my least excited book on that shelf, I'm glad I read it. I'm really glad I read it. 5 years on my TBR, I think. And now it's done. I do think we need more sapphic Dark Academia. Would I read another Dark Academia? I don't think I would buy one. I would probably check it out at the library. I just cannot risk it again. Okay, so I am happy to know that I have now matched my festive edition of Stay Across My Bookshelves, because we did 5 in that one, and we beat episode 1 where we did 4 books. So I feel like we've already done pretty well. But let's shuffle 7 times and spin again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Spin. Oh, God. Oh my God, that was so close to being 9. And I looked at the thing as well. If it was going to be 9, we definitely would have crashed. I don't know about 26 though. Let's double check with 26. Oh my God. Oh my God. Also, was that the same freaking shelf as in the festive edition? Jesus. So yeah, you know how close it was to being 9? If I had gotten 9, I would have had to have done this and crashed. That would not have been good. But no, instead we got 26. So we can just go straight down here. And that's still like excellent placement. That is still excellent placement. Because again, there's still like a bit of wiggle room here. Still some opportunities here. But I do think we got shelf number 26 in the festive edition, which was the shelf that Powerless was on. So let's say if there's like anything on that shelf at all that I fancy reading, at least right now. I'm sure there's definitely books I want to read on it, but like say if there's any I fancy right now. Look how scary and dark it is in my library room without the lights on. Let me turn them on. There we go. Magic. We've just gone from here to here. Okay. So yeah, see there's Powerless. We have had this shelf before. Okay. What am I looking forward to reading the most on this shelf? I've read quite a bit. You know what? Strange Tally Diamond I've had for a while. I would like to read that. Murder Around Fuji is a pretty new-ish still release. I would like to read that. Murakami was in my 25 books to read in 2025. I don't think I fancy about that, honestly. I really don't. Interview with the Vampire. Yeah, I was supposed to buddy read this with Jan. Hi, Jan. Yeah, I'm still not forgiving myself for not buddy reading that last year with you. I do apologise. And then the book that I didn't want to read, I've already read. So that will have to get on hold at some point. And I have already read The Final Empire. I have already read it. I don't know. This is hard, actually. I don't know which one I wouldn't really want to read that much. I mean, Norwegian would. Yeah, I wouldn't really want to read Murakami right now. Do I even want to put it on the poll? Oh, should I just freaking do it? Yeah, I think it's the one I'm the most scared and apprehensive to read. But you know what? I've tried the Google random number generator. I've tried the spin the wheel. It's just not diversifying the numbers of these shelves. Like, there are shelves that really need to be featured that just aren't getting featured.
Like, this looks like a more traditional zoo enclosure. I could see a panda being in here. I could see a little, like a frog being in here. To you. I'm not trying to sway the...
I still need to go in the shower because I've just come home from training, but I thought I would double check what has been in the poll and we will see what I'm reading today. So let's have a quick little look. I have a feeling I know what it is. Yeah, it won by a lot. Okay, so Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice has won with 51% as of filming this update. That is definitely the biggest gap between first and second. Strange Sally Diamond 19, Murder at Mount Fuji 19%, and then Norwegian Wood 11%. So fortunately, not many people voted for the one I least wanted to read this week, at least. Interview with a Vampire. All I know is that this is one of the most celebrated works of vampire fiction since Dracula. And it got made into a TV show, which is apparently very gay. And I think it's just like a man telling his life story, a story of a vampire facing the dark stretch of eternity, cursed with an exquisite craving for human blood. I don't really know anything beyond it being a vampire story, essentially. Sounds a little bit like Empire of the Damned by J. Kristoff, which I did love, like, years and years and years ago when I read it. Is in, like, the storytelling style of it being someone telling a story about something. At least I think so. That's what the summary is making me think anyway. And I actually do have the audiobook of this one as well. I downloaded it last year. I think when me and Jan decided we were going to buddy read it, and I was like, okay, I'll get the audiobook and then at least I'm ready for it. And then, yeah, the buddy read never happened, which again, I apologize for, Jan. So yeah, at least I'm going to read it now and I've got the audiobook so I can just crack on today. I also have reading sprints tomorrow, so if I don't get finished today, I still have tomorrow to do some reading. I mean, I still need to do some planning, some last minute planning for my trip, which is happening in like 3 days. Oh my god. So yeah, I'm gonna hop in the shower and then we'll do some reading. Well, I am just a little concerned because I'm supposed to be having a Teams meeting like from 3 p.m. today, around about now, and they haven't replied. So I'm talking about a potential Vlogs of Halloween place. I've already got another one booked, but there's another one that I wanted to book, so I was emailing about it, and they were like, oh, well, we can talk to you. Well, they took a little while to reply, and then yesterday they said, oh, we could do, like, tomorrow, we'll be free from 3 or something like that. It is now 3:03 p.m, and I haven't had another email or anything to say, hey, this is the link, this is the exact time we're meeting, or anything like that. So I'm starting to feel like maybe it just ain't gonna happen. So anyway, aside from that, I am in my One Piece shirt, One Piece Udi dressing gown, because I have, in 4 hours, One Piece watch along to watch the last 2 episodes of season 1 of the Netflix show before the new season starts next month. Very excited for that. So I've been rewatching season 1. And yeah, 2 episodes ago, got that in 4 hours. And I am about halfway through Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice, and I'm liking this so far. You will be pleased to know I've also made a decaf. Even though it's 3 p.m, I could have had another full proper coffee, but I decided to have a decaf instead. Page 147 of Interview with the Vampire, and I was a little bit concerned to begin with because, like, I didn't realize this book was an interview with the vampire, okay? Like, I thought maybe it would just be the first chapter. So I generally thought that, because we follow Louis. Louis is the one who is talking about his life, and I thought, yeah, first chapter, Louis will introduce himself, introduce the time period, and start the story, and then I thought after that we would be like thrust into the past, and we are being thrust into the past, but it is all the way through Louis talking to this boy. And not only did the lack of chapters, you know, concern me as well, there is like a part 1, part 2, I don't know if there's a part 3. That is the only like chapter break we've had. This has been like 147 pages of like pretty much no chapter breaks or anything like that. So again, like, that concerned me as well. However, I am holding on to every single word that Louis is saying. He is so riveting to listen to. The story he's telling us, talking about Lestat and like how Lestat turned him, meeting him, the events leading up to Claudia as well. Claudia is a little undead girl, and that really creeps me the hell out. There are a lot of things that creeps me out in this, and I think a lot of that has to do with the imagery, the visuals. There's lots of mentions of like coffins and cathedrals and blood and all of that. So like I'm loving the vibes of it. I'm loving the ambience of it, even though I do think I would probably prefer this if it was told in a different kind of way. I have to trust the process. I have to trust that Anne Rice wanted to write this the way that she did. And there's like nothing wrong with it really. I just feel like I would personally be more immersed had we... And then it wouldn't be called Interview with the Vampire, then you dumb bitch. But what I expected was kind of what I would have preferred. So yeah, lots of little creepy things going on. I can't say this is like outwardly gay or anything like that. I have been looking for those undertones between like Louis and Lestat. And while there is definitely a more, like, you know, like the way that vampires suck blood and the way that they turn and stuff like that, there is a lot of mourning. There's a lot of lips on necks and things like that. So there is like that suggestion of like homoerotic behavior, but like nothing really like sexual or nothing specifically stated about sexuality, which is again like absolutely fine. I don't mind reading between the lines. I will say things that aren't actually there if I try hard enough. And just the fact that we have essentially Louis and Lestat and Claudia is like the child, it almost feels like a household in a way, like a same-sex household, even though I'm not going to spoil anything. It isn't quite as straightforward as that, and definitely some tensions are running amok in this little family unit, and I don't think there is that whole sense of love that I've been kind of wanting to anticipate, but it's very exciting. Like, I'm still holding on to Louise's words. I think he's such a good storyteller. I don't want to make any rating predictions at the minute because there is the potential that I could end up getting a little bit bored with the second half of this book because of the storytelling style. But if the plot continues to be quite exciting, and we did end part 1 in a pretty exciting place, I could be pleasantly surprised by the fact that this could hold my attention from beginning to end. Very, very nicely written. I can't believe this is my very first Anne Rice book. Still not an email. Can't believe this is my first Anne Rice book. This feels like it could have been written in the Victorian period-ish. You know, like it has that kind of lush language where a lot is described despite it coming from almost a first-person narrative. Things that would be atypical to a classic in not so much modern books that come from a first-person point of view. Like, one thing I think does let down first-person books is that it doesn't give me enough description that I would personally love. I know description is not for everyone, but I do love to be able to see a scene as I'm playing this in my head like a movie. But no, we are 6 books deep into Sneak Across My Bookshelves, and I'm freaking enjoying this so much. Right, I'll now finish like the last 150-ish pages, hopefully before my live show, and then maybe we can do another shelf either before or after the live show. The live show tonight will not be as long as the previous couple that I've done, so it's absolutely okay if I don't get a chance to finish this beforehand. And then of course it depends on if I get this freaking email that I've been waiting for. Yeah, still nada. Well, fingers crossed I still get to secure this place that I'm looking at. Oh my god, I've just listened to a bit with, like, it was definitely gay. Like, come on. You know, like, the whole, you know, his sex thing up against him. Yeah, I know what you are. I'm just like literally sitting here just like listening in and just enjoying my time. First sign of gayness, my ear just went Well, I didn't get that email. I mean, they're still good, even though it's like 6:15 p.m. at the minute, and I've only got 45 minutes until my live show. So I finished Interview with a Vampire and I loved it. I thought it was so good. The last like hour of the audiobook, there was just like so much action, there was so much happening, and it did such a fantastic job at delving into those relationships between those characters like Lestat, Claudia, Louis, and like it was at times like heartbreaking, at times riveting, at times just like crazy. And yet again, I'm wearing this and I'm freaking roasting. Anne Rice knocked this out of the park. This is my first Anne Rice book. And has she written a witch novel? Because if she has, I'm totally reading it. Witches are my favourite. But yeah, the more vampire fiction that I read, the more I realise I would not want to become a vampire. Like, I used to want to be a vampire. Like, the Vampire Diaries and True Blood kind of made me want to be one. But yeah, the more I read, I think this has like a great exploration into like what a vampire does for such a long time and kind of like what they have to do to survive like boredom and to survive living for so long. It really is important with the people you surround yourself by, and we had a bit of a good thing going there if you ask me. I'm going to give this one a 4.5. I can't give it a 5 just because I did love the way that this story was told. Absolutely, I did fall in love with the storytelling format, despite my initial reservations. I still think, though, there was like a little bit of holding back with it because so much of it is recounting, so much of it is a memory given to you. So, like, in that sense, it didn't fully go all the way that I wanted it to. I loved getting more of an internal and a deeper look into Louis' emotional states and like the deeper things that he was feeling and going through this entire story. Like, absolutely, I kind of love that. But I also feel like it still would have been effective even if this was more like of a third person kind of thing. Because Anne Rice is a great writer. After reading this one book by her, she was a great writer. And I feel like she could have pulled it off. I don't know if maybe the whole first person account narrative kind of holds it back a little bit, but I'm not a writer. I can't say it would have been better that way. I just feel like I probably would have preferred it that way. So yeah, 4.5. I think it's up there with Kings of the Wyld. I think I said I gave Kings of the Wyld 4 stars earlier. I think I'm also giving that one 4.5 because I've been like editing as I've been going, and I believe when I mentioned what rating I gave it, I was like, wait, did I only give it a 4 star? No, I feel like I meant 4.5. So I'm just going back to correct myself. This one is going to get a 4.5 as well. Like, I freaking, like, so far, these two have been absolute bangers. Absolute bangers. Right, this is shelf number 7, right? And 7 is my lucky number. And we're going to shuffle 7 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and spin. Oh, shit. Oh my god, that really killed the momentum. Spin. It didn't do the alarm sound. What is going on with this? Why did it not do the alarm sound at the end? That's so anticlimactic. Number 20. Number 20 was almost 29, which I know would have kept us in the game, definitely. I don't know about 20. But literally, I'm complaining until we live names because they've really messed up a couple of times on this episode now when it comes to the sound effects. It's so rude. Yeah, unfortunately, as we can see here, 20 is here, but we have crashed pretty much twice. We crashed pretty much twice getting over there. So unfortunately, that does mean we will not be doing a 7th book in this video. And I have reading sprints tomorrow, so I was prepared to continue doing another shelf. If I had have gotten that shelf 29, we would have been absolutely fine. But alas, that is how the snake snaked. But despite me not having any power-ups in this video, I've done really freaking well. I got 6 books read, so that means I've beat 2 episodes. This is now the second highest, most read episode of Stay Across My Bookshelves. And we got some bangers in this one. But firstly, I did read The Cloisters and I gave that 2 stars. I read Kings of the Wyld, I gave that one 4.5 stars. I read A Sorceress Comes to Call and I gave that one 2 stars, I'm sorry. Then I read Cups and Campfires, I gave that one 3.5. Yes, 3.5. And then I read A Lesson in Vengeance and I gave that one 3 stars. And then I finished off with Interview with the Vampire and I gave that one 4.5. So fantastic, fantastic run. Even though we did have some duds in there, I think we had a success on our hands. And honestly, I couldn't have done that without my members controlling my TBR on this video. So thank you so much, members, for all of those votes. I do appreciate it. Even if most of the time I didn't get the number 1 book I wanted to read on that shelf, you still did wonderful. You did so good, sweetie. But that is the end of another episode of Stay Across My Bookshelves. I hope you enjoyed. Please do give this video a like if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave all the comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I read in this video, if you agreed or disagreed. Oh, and also let me know, for every single poll, what book would you have voted for? I would love to know which book you think I should have read from each of those polls. I want to give a huge thank you to my channel members for supporting my channel and also taking part in this episode of Stay Across My Bookshelves. If you'd like to join my channel membership, then the link is in the description box. But yeah, I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye.